Greetings, students. We are here to apply our model of light to the phases of the moon. Using our model of light, we can explain why the phases of the moon are what they are, not just mindlessly memorizing them, but understanding why they happen. We will start with first quarter. In first quarter, we see half of the moon. Why do we call it first quarter? Because first quarter, the moon has gone 1/4 of the way around the Earth, starting from new moon to first quarter. And so you see half the moon, even though it's a quarter, don't let that bother you. I'm going to work on paper with colored markers. You are free to work on paper with pencil, paper with pen, work on the iPad, whatever works best for you. And I will begin by labeling our paper so that we know which phase of the moon we're talking about. First quarter. Second, we'll try to fulfill the 4 conditions during our model: light source, object, line of sight, eyes. We'll start with light source. If we're going to get the Earth and Moon on this page, there's no way we can fit the sun. The sun is 93 million miles away and would fill the entire page. It would just be this wall of plasma. So we'll just have a little sign going off that way to the sun. Okay. And that covers our light source. And in this scale, it's basically a wall of light coming across continuously. Okay. And then we're going to put the Earth and the Moon over here. Really, they would be far enough apart that they wouldn't both fit on the same page, but scale schmale. Okay. I'll put the moon here. And the Earth here. They're not perfect circles, but they'll do. And we'll draw sunlight coming across. So I'll have a pair of arrows coming across, and I'll take advantage of that slight line there on the paper. A pair of arrows coming across and striking the moon. And I will label these arrows sunlight. And of course, there are arrows coming all the way across, which means this and this must be the day side, and therefore this and this must be the night side. We'll show that by shading. We'll shade the night side. Night side of the moon. Night side of the Earth. I should probably label them as well. Okay. Moon, Earth. There we go. Now, if you're curious about perspective, this point of view is above the North Pole of the Earth. So if you were in a spaceship floating above the North Pole of the Earth, this is the perspective you would have. If civilization had started in Australia, perhaps we would have it above the South Pole. Whichever. Okay. Now, we've got our light source, the sun. We've got our object, the moon. And now we need to show line of sight from moon to Earth. Well, I'm going to show 2 things at once. One is that moonlight is scattering off from the moon. We got a little bit of moonlight there, right? And second, that moonlight is traveling to the Earth where we are seeing it. This is our line of sight right here, our line of sight. And I'm going to label it moonlight, because it's more useful to think about it as what kind of light it is. We've already learned about line of sight. Thinking of this as moonlight, sunlight scattering off as moonlight, is a more useful way to think of it. So, light source, object, line of sight, which we see as moonlight, and eyes. Eyes, of course, are on the Earth. We all live on the Earth for the moment. Who knows where we might retire someday, but for now we're all on the Earth. And that's where the eyes are. And this completes our diagram. This is it. And if you wanted, you could write light source, object, line of sight, eyes. But I think this is enough to show how first quarter happens, how we see the moon like this. And in the future, we can continue on with further lessons for a full moon, third or last quarter, new moon, and in each case, show why we see the moon the way we do at that phase. Thank you all very much.